Just like that. And in that order. What? Yeah.
I gotta go hard, I can't afford to take no days off. Trust in the Lord, I know that He gon' make a way out of no way. For me, I ain't going outside. Surely goodness and mercy gon' follow me when I stand. So I stand lively, keep flame like wasabi. You can find me in the presence right beside Him. Walking on water, nature drip. You ain't never seen nothing like this here. Everybody with me gon' make it, yeah. Bow your head, let's say a prayer. Though we need your direction, give us eyes to see and ears to listen. You know this world we live in crazy, so protect us. Continue to bless us so we can be a blessing. Amen. Amen. Gotta focus on the future, ain't no way I'm staying in the present or the past. Gotta move fast just to get this cash. Blessings in my bag. Working day.
It is a beautiful, beautiful day.
Yeah, gotta stay with it, cause I know that my time gon' come. Your opinions do not change the fact that I'm
What's up, family? Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, March the 2nd, 2021. Good afternoon. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter. Hopefully at some point we'll be live on LinkedIn. And if Elon Musk makes it to Mars, we'll be live on Mars, right here in his house. All my tribe members, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, please hit that like button. Drop something in the comments. Let me know what city you're representing. Let me know what tribe you're representing. Let me know what business, ministry, organization you're representing. Please hit that like button, share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. And let them know Prophet Ramone, the squad, and the Ramonepreston Show. We are live on this beautiful Tuesday, right here in the Buckhead community of Atlanta. We call it the Beverly Hills of the South, the financial district of the A. I love y'all so much. Appreciate all of you for your love and your support. Appreciate all of you for continuing to give us positive feedback, letting us know that what we're sharing with you on the show is blessing you. Today is going to be awesome. I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to grow your business. 3 ways to grow your business. If you're a business owner, if you're anticipating being a business owner, if you got a side hustle, even if you got a ministry or you have dreams of having a ministry or a nonprofit or a church, any type of entity, these 3 ways to grow your business will definitely help you. Please hit that like button. If you have any tribe members that you know are a part of our tribe, I want you to tag them and let them know Prophet Ramonepreston and the Ramonepreston Show. We are live in the house. I've got some great opportunities that I'm going to be sharing with you that we are introducing. It was so good yesterday. We did our show yesterday at 12 and then came back around 5-something and did a prophetic pop-up. So all of my Facebook family, I love you. Thank you for joining the Ramonepreston Show on this Tuesday, March the 2nd. All of my YouTube family, I love you. Appreciate you so much. If you have any questions, things that might be relative to financial literacy or relative to the discussion we're going to have today on your business. If you have questions about a holding company, if that's something you're interested in, which we've always gotten a lot of interest in that. If you have questions about investments, family legacy wealth building, anything that has to do with biblical economics, anything that has to do with financial literacy or starting and structuring businesses, that's what we do here at Ramonepreston Enterprises. That's what we do here through the RP Consulting Group. That's what we teach in our Blueprint Game Plan, which is our signature 5-step wealth building system to teach you the most important aspects of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, investments, and family legacy wealth building. So if you have a business, if you have an idea for a business, if you got a side hustle or a couple side hustles, if you have a ministry, a nonprofit, any type of organization, you have, I'm assuming you have established that business, or you anticipate to establish that business or that entity, not just for a purpose, but if it's a for-profit, it's for a profit. So if you have a nonprofit organization, if you have an outreach ministry, if you have a church, if you have a foundation, if you have any type of nonprofit entity, of course it is considered a nonprofit entity because it is not primarily designed to generate profits, but it is designed to perpetuate a purpose. On the other hand, if you have a for-profit, if you have a LLC, if you have a S corporation, a C corp, a partnership, if you have a DBA, if you just have a few side hustles or you just pushing products on the side. Listen, if you have a network marketing association, or if you have some type of license like an insurance license, a real estate license, a broker's license, whatever it is that you're doing, there are business exchanges that have to be made in all of those things. And so that's what I teach as a consultant, as a coach, and in our blueprint game plan, that as a for-profit and or a nonprofit entity, you have to focus on what the purpose of that nonprofit is and what the profits of that for-profit organization should be. So even if you don't have a business, even if you don't have an idea for a business, I truly believe that every family, especially those of us in the faith community, we should all own a business, or at some point we should be moving in the direction of owning a business. But now the challenge is, if or when you start your business, if or when you get your LLC up and running, if or when you get your EIN, if or when you get your 501c3, if or when you take your products and your services or your ideas and concepts and you package them with a name in the form of a business system and you introduce that to the market, the next big challenge is for you to grow that business. Now, even though I teach a lot of different business growth principles or scale principles within my consulting business, within our coaching program, and within our blueprint game plan program, I really wanted to take it to a little bougie level today and give you 3 ways to grow your business from a corporate perspective. In other words, these 3 ways that I'm about to share with you are more sophisticated ways that corporations may use to implement strategies to grow their business. Okay? So I think it will resonate with you if in fact you have a business. But if you don't have a business, if you're working for a business, it may even resonate with you, because there are some words and terms and phrases that I'm going to use with these 3 ways to grow your business that you're going to hear and say, oh, okay, I heard about that, or I've experienced somebody doing that. I just didn't know what it was actually called. Did we have a question over there?
Yes.
All right, we got a question already, y'all, on YouTube.
He said, hello, Mr. Preston. I'm a blockchain developer that is starting up a consulting company. Would I be able to put it under a holding company / operating company as well as my YouTube channel?
Yes, yes. I would, your question is with the startup of your blockchain consulting.
He said, yeah.
You're a blockchain developer.
Yeah,
and he's starting up a consulting business. Okay, yeah, I would definitely start my holding company, because that's going to be your parent company. That's going to be your legacy company. And you can do 1 or 2 things, because I've seen it done both ways. You can either start your holding company, which will be your LLC, your main parent company, and you could create a consulting division, which means you may not necessarily have initially a separate operating company, you can actually do that. If you do that, I would recommend that you get at least $1 million of liability insurance on your holding company, and make sure that you have certain layers of insurance to cover any litigation or liability for the consulting that you're providing. So that would be a way to hack not having two separate entities and just using your consulting service as a division until you start making money, or until you feel like there's a high risk involved in who you're consulting and where you're consulting. That's one way. The second way can be just for you to have your LLC as your holding company, and then you start your second LLC, which will be owned by your parent company, and that second company would be a subsidiary, and that would be an operating service for the purpose of consulting. But even with the consulting business, if you separate it as an operating business, I would definitely get insurance on it to cover any consulting or advice that you provide. They have insurance where you can layer it for liability, for equipment, even for what you give people in terms of information and advice. So in the event somebody does something and they flop and fail, and they say, hey, I got this from my consultant, that you're always able to be covered for that liability. So you can either use it initially as a division, because there are a lot of people who start their holding companies and they really ain't got a lot going on. So if there's not a lot of liability involved in something that they're doing, then they could get away with using what they're doing as a division, unless it's liability, especially if it's something like real estate or some type of investments. But yeah, your consulting business, your online social media business, whatever the type of marketing businesses that you have, all of those operating businesses can be subsidiaries under your holding company, and or if they're really not generating that much liability or that much revenue, you can always launch them as divisions. That's why I recommend, and I teach that in our Blueprint Game Plan program, I recommend for everyone to have a research and development division, because most major corporations, if not all of them, they have research and development divisions, which means they earmark a certain amount of money every year just to play around, just to try stuff. So that means instead of you starting all these businesses as subsidiaries under your holding company and spending all that money and wasting all that time, you can launch it as a division with its own name, with its own brand identity. And if it don't go nowhere, then it was just a part of your research and development. So yeah, I would put all of that under your holding company. That's what the holding company is designed to do. It's designed to hold assets, intellectual property, copyrights, ownership interests, stocks, bonds, commodities, whatever the things are that have value that you don't want other operating companies to hold. That's one of the primary purposes of your holding company. If you need more information on how to structure your holding company and how to actually run it as far as the day-to-day operations are concerned, we have an entire holding company course in our Blueprint Game Plan. So if you plugged into our Blueprint Game Plan, there are courses that will teach you the fundamentals of operating the day-to-day of your holding company. So I hope I answered that question. Thank you for the question. Any of you that have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments. That's why we're here. That's the primary purpose of the Ramonepreston Show. For me as a prophet, to speak truth to power to my community, to my people. And when I say truth to power, it is specifically in the area of biblical economics. I believe this is an area that God is assigning people like me to in order to help us get to our place of wealth and to create generational wealth and to establish sustainable legacies of success. And Hosea 12:13, we prayed that earlier, daughter. Hosea 12:13 says, by a prophet, Israel was delivered. By a prophet, Israel was preserved. In other words, when you look throughout the Old and New Testaments of the Bible, when God wanted to deliver his people, not just spiritually, when he wanted to deliver his people physically, when he wanted to deliver his people economically, he would always raise up prophets or prophetic leaders who could navigate them through whatever their wilderness was and into their prophesied place. And so right now, our wilderness economically is debt. Our wilderness economically is ignorance. Our wilderness economically is a lack of knowing not just what to do, but how to do business and how to do finance and how to do investments and how to do wealth building. And so Prophet Ramone, his squad, my faithful sidekick, and the Ramonepreston Show, that's what we're here for. So if you have any questions, please drop your questions in the comments. And if you have any feedback on what we are talking about or what we have talked about for the last 6 weeks since we've been showing up every Monday through Friday at 12, drop that feedback in the comments. So 3 ways to grow your business. 3 ways to grow your business. Here's the first way. I want you to take notes. The first way to grow your business is, this is more of a corporate explanation of ways to grow your business. The first way to grow your business is organic growth. So this is a very sophisticated or corporate perspective of how to grow your business. So if you are in corporate America, if you are a part of any C-level groups, if you are a part of a mastermind, if you pay for or hire a consulting firm for your business like RP Consulting Group, if you hire a business or executive coach like the RP Business Coaching Program, these are the kind of conversations that firms and companies like mine will have with you with regard to more of the sophisticated ways or more of the official ways or corporate ways to grow your business. I'm looking for my background. I can't find my background. So the first way to grow your business is organic growth. Anybody that's watching that's able to engage, do you have any idea on what I mean by organic growth? Do you have any idea what I mean by organic growth? I have a few examples that I'm gonna give you for organic growth, but I want to see if you have any idea on what I mean by organic growth. That is the first way to grow your business. Organic growth. Organic growth is the first way to grow your business. I'm trying to figure out, how do I get to how did I get here? Yeah.
He said thank you, Dad,
Okay.
for taking the time.
Okay, so let me give you a few examples while I mess around with my background trying to figure out, how did I get here? I'm trying to figure out, how did I get here? Don't know how to get out of here now. Let me give you a few examples of organic growth. Chaston says, yes, organic messaging. So organic growth has a lot of moving parts, okay? When you think of organic growth, first of all, when you think of organic, what do you think about?
Natural.
Say what?
Organic.
Yeah, when you think about organic, you think about something natural, right?
Yes.
You think about something that's normal.
Right.
You think about something that should be, here's a good word, I know trustworthy, I love this word. You think about something that will be native to certain targeted audiences. So for example, if Ramonepreston Enterprises has a product and or a service like the Blueprint Game Plan, that is a product slash service that Ramonepreston Enterprises provides to certain clients. So we have an entire client base who uses our online educational training university platform to learn about financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business, investments, family, legacy, wealth building, okay? So if Ramonepreston and his team at Ramonepreston Enterprises comes together and says, okay, we want to implement strategies through the first way we should as a corporation grow our business, and that is through organic growth. How are we going to implement certain strategies through this first way of organic growth? Well, we're going to take a look at our native community. We're going to take a look at our target audience. If there are already people who are utilizing our resources, if there are already people who are in our client base, if there are already people who are our prospects, which means they have showed interest, okay? They may not be hot prospects, they may be cold prospects, but these are people who, to some extent, I'm spitting and all, I must be feeling it. These are people who to some extent, have showed interest in whatever the products and services that Ramonepreston and Ramonepreston Enterprises has introduced to them. Whether some of them bought them or all of them have bought them, or if they have just, you know, enjoyed the free resources that we've given to them. So a part of our organic growth is to go to our native community. So there are people who you've already reached out to. There are people that you have already sold products and services to. So in order to implement and execute the first way to grow your business through organic growth, you're going to have to now learn the ways or the strategies of, here are two key words, maximizing value. This is what organic growth is about. Organic growth is about you maximizing value. So now I've got to figure out with the clients who are on my Blueprint Game Plan virtual training program, I've got to figure out what value can I add to them to not just maximize my balance sheet or my top line revenue, but to maximize what they are intending or endeavoring to do in those areas that they're being trained in. I've got to learn how to maximize that value. See, a lot of times we don't focus on organic growth, we focus on inorganic growth, which means now because we don't have any momentum, because we ain't making no more money, because nobody ain't responding back to us, or because let's say you have a subscription program and people are falling off your subscription, instead of you leaning into organic growth and saying, listen, I've got to go to my native audience. I got to go to my native community, and I've got to see what have I introduced to my current audience, my clients, my customers, past or present, and I've got to see what value have I given to them, and what needs have I best met in my customers' and clients' lives. Okay, that's what you got to do. That's what I did. So we took, for the last few months, we took our customer client base who were on our Blueprint Game Plan, and we realized that there were certain modules, certain courses, certain content, certain things that we were providing to our customer base, to our client base, that they had an overwhelming liking to. So whether it was about financial literacy, whether it was about tax strategies, whether it was about learning more on how to operate a holding company, and what did we do? We developed programs, we developed products and services that catered to what seemed to be the overwhelming liking of all the products and services we provided. So once we packaged these valuable things that obviously are needs to our customer base and our client base, guess what we did? We reintroduced them to our customer base and our client base so that we could maximize value, not just on our end, but so that we can also maximize value on their end. So for some of you, there may be a certain product that you provide, or a signature product. There may be a certain service you provide, or a signature service you provide. A part of your organic growth strategy is to figure out ways to maximize value with your relationship between you and your native audience, your native community. There are people who are interested in what you're currently providing, and there are some people who might be interested in it, but they never pulled the trigger on it, not because what you're providing is not valuable, but they're looking for more value. So a lot of times I tell our clients, instead of you trying to go down on your price, you may need to add more inventory so that you can have multiple price ranges, which means you provide different levels of value to your clients to give your clients, your market, the opportunity to decide how much they want or how little they want from your products and services. So for example, if you have a $100 product, maybe you need a $10 product. Maybe you need a $50 subscription and a one-time $100 product. Maybe you need a $50 subscription, a $100 product, and a $4.99 product. But then maybe you need a $2,000 product with services that you're personally providing. Because see, I'm the type of business owner that I'm willing to provide an array, an inventory of products and services, and I'm willing to merge and mesh them together in order to maximize my value to my client. So that means if I have a product that I'm selling and I want to sell that product and scale that product, and I know there are certain services that I need to provide in order to make that product better, then that means I need to provide that service with that product for a limited number of people. And then I need to develop a training program to train other people to provide the same service, so that as we scale our customer base with that product that's attached to the service, we can have more people or hands on deck who can also complement that product with a service. And this is all organic growth. See, some of you got real good products and real good services, and you got real good partnerships and relationships with people that if you just sat down and took the time to say, you know what, I need to add these 3 things to this thing, and now I need to build my inventory, if I'm making sense. This is a part of organic growth. This is how you maximize your value through organic growth. So if you have a certain product, you may need to add more products to your inventory. You may need to add larger SKUs to your inventory. That's one of the most important organic growth strategies that I think a lot of people who have businesses or who are entrepreneurs miss, and that is scaling up on your product and service inventory. In other words, most people, when they stop making money or they stop getting responses, they lower their prices. But if you lower your price, guess what you're going to do? You're probably going to lower your value. Organic growth is about maximizing your value. So instead of lowering your prices, which means you're going to subsequently lower your value, guess what you got to do? You got to scale or increase your prices so that you can scale and increase your value. So now I'm going to give you the whole bond for this increased price, where if I went lower, I would have been trying to figure out what can I take away from what I already offered that people are not responding to. Because it's just some people, see, I'm one of those customers where if there's something you have, I want to know everything you got and what it costs to get all that. So don't just tell me you do this and then you do that, and these are lower ticket items, whether it's product or service. And then when you tell me you do this and you do that, and I'm thinking, wow, I wish you did that, and that. So because you don't have a product that does this, and that, now I'm not going to purchase anything. And you think something was wrong with your first 2 products. Wasn't nothing wrong with your first 2 products. Wasn't nothing wrong with your first 2 services. You were just trying to be a niche when you shouldn't be a niche. So a part of your organic growth strategy is to really figure out how you can maximize value. Is that resonating with anybody? So that's organic growth. So I don't care if you got 5 clients or 5 customers that have bought something from you or that have showed interest from you. Of course, you ain't gonna be able to reach back out to them and tell them you got the same product and service, but guess what? You gotta change your inventory. Have you ever walked in a supermarket? Do you notice when you walk in the supermarket, they have a big inventory?
Yeah.
So they have lower ticket items, they have big ticket items. And most supermarkets are getting real sophisticated because now supermarkets are allowing you to come in there, and not only are they providing you products, but guess what they're doing? They're adding to their inventory to provide services. So now they're providing certain services for you. They're providing banking services. They're providing checking services. They're providing phone services. They're providing lotto services. They're providing all types of services, and they're continuing to add to their inventory because they are looking at their native community. And most supermarkets are dealing, especially like local supermarkets, they're dealing with a lot of the same people. These are locals who continue to go to the supermarket. It ain't like people from Hampton, Georgia are coming way up here to go to Publix and Buckhead. Most of the people that come in and out of Publix and Buckhead are locals, especially if it's a supermarket. So why do they continue to change their products, change their services, increase and scale their inventory? Sometimes they move things out of the way, or they merge one thing with another thing. You know why they do that? Because they are listening to their target audience, and they're looking for ways to maximize value, which means they are implementing the first way to grow your business, which is through organic growth. That's number one. Number two, the second way to grow your business. The second way to grow your business is margin expansion. Margin expansion. Margin expansion. Now, I'm going to take a little time and really talk about the scaling part on this one, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs are getting stuck in what corporate experts may call. You got a question?
Someone asked.
Okay.
How you research what your customer wants.
One of the best ways to research what your customer wants
For making more products.
is to ask them. One of the best ways to know what your customer wants is, even if you only got 10 customers, whoever has bought anything from you, reach out to them and ask them, in addition to what they purchase, what more could they use with that product? Or what other products and services? You need to put like a survey together. It could be like 3 or 4 questions, and you need to send it to them. Like if you got 20 customers, here's an example. Let's say you got 50 customers, right? If you got 50 customers that bought something, okay, you can send all 50 of them a 5-question survey. And with the 5-question survey, you can ask them questions relative to the product or the service that they purchased from you, and what extra add-ons would they have liked to have. Just basic questions. You're going to ask your target market. You're going to ask your audience. There's no better way to figure out what your market, your native community needs than asking them. We're going to ask them. That's why with this coaching program that we're launching, this 1-year coaching program, it really came from our customers and clients. Because everybody that you personally processed through the blueprint game plans, all of the clients that you are the account manager for, every one of them received a free business consultation. those consultation services that we gave them for free, which were supposed to be 15 minutes and most of them turned into an hour or two, but those business consultation sessions that we provided to them for free for purchasing a virtual training program, they said a lot about what our customer or our clients for our educational training platform wanted. Most of them realized in the consultation sessions that not only did they need education and training, hands-on training for financial literacy and entrepreneurship and business ownership and investments and wealth building, but they also realized, or at least told us, that they needed one-on-one coaching. Even if they didn't say coaching, that's what they all unanimously said. Basically, we love the education, we love the training, we love all your courses, we're learning a lot. However, that 15-minute business session you gave me, however, that 30 minutes I spent with you on the phone, however, that day we came into the office and got that free coaching session and you laid out our business and our finances and my life, it changed me forever, even though I love the training. So the overwhelming majority of clients that she was the account manager for, the overwhelming majority of them said that, in no uncertain terms, they loved the education and training, but they needed more than ever the coaching. So they told me what product was needed for them in order to maximize value and in order for us collectively, on my end and their end, to experience true business growth. And so as a result, we had to configure a way to introduce to our audience, our current clients, and to our new clients, a program that would stretch out further enough so that it would maximize their businesses, their finances, and their lives, but would minimize their financial or expense responsibility. And so that's what I would do. I would reach out to the people who bought. I would reach out to the people who showed interest. That's one of the reasons why, if you have a business, you need to have those executive systems. You need to have marketing systems. You need to have sales systems. You need to have financial systems and operating systems. Those are the 5 top business systems and executive positions that I teach in my Blueprint Game Plan, because every business needs it. Listen, if you have a business right now, or an organization, or any entity right now, and you don't have an executive system, a sales system, a marketing system, a financial system, and an operations system, you actually don't have a full business, because your business is not a name or a number on paper. Your business is actually a system of exchanges. And so if you have those systems, especially a marketing system, then you should have some type of CRM, some type of customer relations management software that you've gathered the names and the numbers and the emails and the information of your prospects, of your customers and clients, so that you can reach out to them and actually ask them what you really need. Even if they don't want what you got, what you need. Because if they tell you what they need, then you can present to them an offer that's valuable enough for them to receive it. So the second way to grow your business is margin expansion. Margin expansion. I want you to write that down. Margin expansion. What do you mean by margin expansion? Well, here's what I want to say about margin expansion, because there's a lot of stuff I can talk about with margin expansion. You're welcome. Thank you. Here's what I want to say about margin expansion. First of all, you're not going to know anything about margins if you're not willing to do the math on what you're actually doing in your business. So for example, if you are selling a product for a certain price, if you are selling a service for a certain price, and guess what? If you are providing any type of business exchanges in the marketplace, no matter what it is that you're doing, even if it's not a physical product, even if it's not a physical service that you are exchanging in the marketplace, you are still paying something to provide that product and service, which means you need to know what your income is and what your expenses are or your costs are as it relates to those products and services. So you need to do the math on what are the costs associated to me selling this $20 product? What are the costs associated to me providing this $500 service? What are the costs associated to me cutting one head or selling one t-shirt or cleaning one house or washing 5 windows or washing a car? I need to know the costs associated to every product and service. Why do I need to know the cost as opposed to what I'm making? Because I need to know what my margins are. Margin expansion is one of the most overlooked ways to grow your business. Some people can just grow their business if they use a different telephone service, if they use a different marketing service, if they use a different sales service, if they use a different advertising service, if they use a different vendor, if they use different subcontractors. Some of your margins can increase if you just lower the costs associated to what you're doing. But if you don't know the cost, if you just think, oh, I just made $100, but how much did it cost you to even acquire that customer? So if it took you 2 weeks to acquire that customer, if it took you 2 months to acquire that customer, how much money did you actually lose and spend just to wait on that one customer? You need to know what, in corporate America, they call it what the customer acquisition costs are. You need to know what the customer acquisition costs are. We have a few comments here on Facebook. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, okay? Here is one comment. Chaston says, I tell people this, but they don't understand that a book of business is customers and not just a name or a brick and mortar. That is so true, Chaston. Thank you so much. So when it comes to margin expansion, you can grow your business through margin expansion if you figure out how to lower the costs associated to your products and services. So a lot of times you ain't even got to go up on your price. You just need to go down on your costs. You could be paying too much for the office you leasing. You could be paying too much for the gas that you spending just to get to customers. You could be paying too much for whoever's managing your social media or your marketing or your sales. You could be paying too much for the vendors or the distributors. You've got to know the math to understand what the costs are associated to every product and service that you sell, and what is your customer acquisition cost? How much does it cost? Because if it's costing you $1,000 to get a customer and your average customer only spends $500, you actually spending $500 just to get a customer. So it's costing you. And a lot of people don't realize they go out of business because of this one way to grow your business is not understood. Think about it. There are people right now who have, let's say, restaurants open, or they have catering businesses. And then you go in and you buy a $12 plate, right? And it's costing them $15 to sell a $12 plate. And they wonder why they're not making no money in their business. Or you go to a brick and mortar clothing store or apparel store or shoe store or what do you call those types of stores? The beauty supply stores. And for every customer that comes in, it could be costing them $15. And the average customer might be spending $8. So every time a customer walks through that door, they're losing $7 because they don't understand their margins, which means they don't know their math, which means they have not learned the fundamentals of not just growing a business, but actually running a business system, because it is about systems. So when you think of margin expansion, you want to think about ways to create sustainable growth. So how can I figure out what my customer acquisition costs are? Well, you're going to have to do the math. You're going to have to look back at how many customers have you gotten, how much money have you made from those customers, and what have been the costs associated to getting these customers that you've gotten and making sales from those customers, to see what your overall revenue has been, but what your overall cost has been. And you could do this through 3 customers or 300 customers, but you got to know those numbers. You got to do that math. You could be using equipment. You could be using certain technology that's costing you too much for the money that you're making with the customers that you are acquiring. So margin expansion is it is like extremely important. You have to figure out ways to lower those costs. If you watch Shark Tank, one of my favorite shows, they always focus on things like what we're talking about, because these are more corporate business executive terms for understanding how to grow business. But if you listen to Shark Tank, or if you have listened to Shark Tank long enough, you may have heard them say, what are your customer acquisition costs? You may have heard them say, what are your margins? And they'll come back and say, well, we make the shirts for $5 and we sell them for $25. And so they'll say, oh, you have a margin of this. So how much does it cost for you to acquire the customer who buys a $25 shirt that you spent $5? Well, it costs us $8 to acquire that customer. So you're spending $5 on the shirt. You're spending $8 to acquire the customer. So you're actually spending what? $13 to sell a $25 shirt, which means your margins before taxes, this is where you get into some of the sophisticated metrics and numbers of knowing your costs. But if you just doing the math, if you out there grinding and making money and doing business and hustling and making exchanges, all you gotta do is the math to figure out where's the money going if I'm making any. And what are the costs associated to me making this money and providing the services and products that I'm providing to get the money that I'm making. Margin expansion also challenges us to focus on shifting our products and services from brick and mortar or stick and stone into the digital world, into concepts. I hope you understand what I just said. If you have come to any of my boot camps or my masterminds, you're probably familiar with the conversation that I regularly have with our clients and customers on the digitization of ideas and concepts. And so when you think of margin expansion, I want you to also think about how you can take a brick and mortar business. How can you take a brick and mortar business? A brick and mortar business is like a physical business. You need a physical location to run that business. All right? How can you take that brick and mortar business or a stick and stone business? A stick and stone business is like a physical product or a physical service that you have to physically distribute and provide. Even though you can operate a brick and mortar business in today's world, you can operate a stick and stone business in today's world, you should be trying to figure out how you can either shift and convert those products and services into ideas and concepts, or integrate the digitized ideas and concepts into those products and services. So like, for example, Amazon, they are a part of the e-commerce world. They're a part of the digital revolution. So even though you're still buying physical products and services, but Amazon is not like big and bent on brick and mortar facilities. They're opening distribution centers, which means all of the products and services that come through the distribution centers have been purchased by customers. that they're just distributing and putting in place so that they can get it quicker to people in those regions. So even though they're providing physical products and services, but think about it, they have integrated such a high sophisticated level of digital ideas and concepts. They have made the buying process for that physical product much easier. So now you can click a button 3 or 4 times and you've checked out, and within 24 to 48 hours, you got what you saw on the screen. And if you don't like it, you could just drop it in front of your door and it's gone, because they have integrated the digitization of the world we're in with ideas and concepts into the selling of physical products and services. And even a lot of the services that they're providing are digital cloud-based services. So with margin expansion, yes, you need to look at the math and do the numbers to see what your customer acquisition costs are. I told y'all this was gonna be like a little bougie, sophisticated conversation. This wasn't gonna be some ghetto, but you need to know these things. If you're gonna run a business, if you wanna be successful in business, if you want to have sustainable growth and a sustainable business, if you don't wanna be 9 out of 10 businesses that fail in the first 1 to 3 years, and then 9 out of 10 of those businesses fail within the first 5 to 7 years, if you don't want to be one of those businesses, you better start understanding the stuff I'm talking about. You better start learning the stuff I'm talking about. You better start figuring out how that looks in a real operation called the business that you are running. If you do not understand what I'm talking about and you're not willing to learn what I'm talking about, I'm so sorry to tell you that you're not going to be a part of this new digital revolution. We are in the digital revolution right now. It's like the new industrial revolution. And when it comes to margin expansion, you have to figure out how to integrate digital ideas, digital concepts that will either eliminate the need for brick and mortar buildings. It will either eliminate the need for stick and stone physical products and services, or it will integrate digital ideas and concepts so well that it will lower the cost and lower the manpower and lower the stress and strain of the brick and mortar, of the stick and stone products and services. So I hope you understand what I just said. If you don't, you need to go back and re-listen to that, because that's some heavy stuff that I'm talking about. But trust me, in the next 24 to 36 months, you'll come back to this video on one social media platform and say, this dude was talking about that 3 years ago. He knew what he was talking about. I seen it coming. I prepared for what's going on right now 3 years ago, because I was willing to learn and lean in and figure out what was taking place, because I run a business and I want to create sustainable growth for my business. Chasten said, taking notes. Don't even have to go to business college. Lots of great stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So the second way to grow your business was margin growth. The third way to grow your business, and I'm getting ready to slide in the home plate with this one, is mergers and acquisitions. If this particular show is really boring you, that should be a gauge to let you know how low you are on the prophetic pole of what's happening economically in our society. That's the best way I can tell you. That's the best way I can say it. That's the easiest way for me to lay you down without just dropping you like a bad habit. Because you just got to be goofy if you're not clear on anything that I'm talking about right now. The third way to grow your business, number 3, is mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions. Corporate America, private equity groups, hedge funds, private equity funds, sovereign wealth funds. They call this M&A. It's called M&A. Most companies on Wall Street have M&A divisions. Most private equity groups, they have to have M&A divisions. I mean, that's how they operate their businesses. So the third way to grow your business is through mergers and acquisitions. Man, this is so good. This is for free and it's good. Yeah, normally the whole show could just be like a sales pitch. But I'm giving y'all some real stuff here today. Like I had to put my corporate coat on today and get real bougie with this show because I knew this was going to be very intellectual but yet educational. I knew that. What?
You funny, Dad.
You crazy girl. So the third way to grow your business is mergers and acquisitions. All right, mergers and acquisitions. Now let's talk about mergers and acquisitions for a moment. What do you mean by mergers and acquisition? There are different ways that you can create a merger. One way you could create a merger is business A connects with business B and says, instead of business A and business B being separate entities, providing separate products and services with separate issues, with separate ecosystems, we're going to merge together to become one business. We're going to become one entity. So now we're going to take our products and services, merge them with your products and services, and we're going to create an entirely new entity where we may have a 50-50 ownership and partnership of that business. And guess what? If you listen to somebody like me and create a holding company, here's the powerful part of a holding company. So I have a holding company, right? So if there's an opportunity for me to merge with another company that may be providing services similar to mine, let's say if there's a company that has an app. Let's say if there's a company that has a financial app or a real estate app or a mortgage app, and they come to me and they see that my blueprint game plan, which is a digital training program, is something that they would like to integrate into their app. I don't have an app. I have an online virtual platform, but I don't have a sophisticated app. And they say, well, let's merge our companies together. Well, because I have a holding company, I could take the blueprint game plan and use that company division and merge it with another business or company that has an app and all of the sophisticated software, so that now my virtual education and training can be a part of a bigger program, a bigger platform, and me and that app developer or that company can actually create a merger and do greater business. They may have a customer base of 1 million people, and I want to reach 1 million people, but they don't have what I got. So that's how you can merge. Some of you in this post-pandemic world, you should actually be considering merging with other businesses. And again, if you have your holding company structured correctly, you don't have to merge your parent company. You don't have to merge your legacy company. You're going to merge one of your operating companies with another company so that y'all can create a partnership and you still own your holding company. That's one of the reasons why we got to have holding companies set up. I'm telling y'all, the world that we're going to, we're going to have to understand this game, y'all. And I'm trying to give it to y'all. But you got to want it now. So that's the definition and description of a merger. So what is an acquisition? An acquisition is where you find a business that you know is struggling, it's suffering, or it may just have an owner that's ready to exit. They're ready to retire. They're ready to move on to something else. But they have already built the infrastructure. They have already built a client base. They've already built something that's pretty solid, and you can come in with your company or with your group of partners or investors, and you can create an acquisition opportunity. In other words, you can actually acquire that business, that organization, that operation, that equipment, that ecosystem. Even if you merge it into your business at some point, or if you just leave it independent of your business, that is a merger and that is an acquisition. So those are the three ways, ladies and gentlemen, to grow your business. Number one, organic growth. Number two, margin expansion. Number three, mergers and acquisitions. Now listen, if what I've been saying today is resonating with you and you just feel like, you know, Prophet Ramone, I really need to learn more about this. I don't know enough about this. There are a few ways that I can help you learn more about what I'm giving you. One way is through our Blueprint Game Plan program. Our Blueprint Game Plan program, which I'm getting ready to pull it up right now, is right behind me. Our Blueprint Game Plan program is our 5-step wealth building system that provides online virtual education and training for the most important aspects of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, investments, and wealth building. So a lot of what I talked about today with regard to growing your business, scaling it, structuring it, creating a holding company, operating your holding company, understanding the business systems that need to be connected to your LLC or your holding company, like your executive system, your marketing system, sales system, financial system, and operating system. All of that training and education is built into our online virtual training program. If you would like to have access to our Blueprint Game Plan, which by far is one of the most sophisticated programs that we have available, I think, in the market today when it comes to financial literacy and entrepreneurship, because we're merging both of those worlds together, and other ancillary programs that we teach and train in our Blueprint Game Plan. So if you would like access to our Blueprint Game Plan, I want you to either text the word Blueprint to 404-478-7213. Text the word Blueprint to 404-478-7213. If you know that online virtual training is something that would work for you, and you know that you don't mind listening to me any time of the day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, all of the courses, there are hundreds of courses in the Blueprint Game Plan program. All of them are facilitated by me. I'm teaching you the most important aspects of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, ministry leadership, investments, and family legacy wealth building. And if you fit that criteria, feel free to reach out to me right now. Text the word Blueprint to 404-478-7213, and we will connect you with the Blueprint Game Plan program that best fits your criteria. One of the reasons why I encourage people to reach out to us so that we can guide you through that purchasing process is because we have 6 different Blueprint game plans. We have 5 industry specific, and then we have an ultimate all-in-one. So within the first 3 to 4 minutes of us talking with you, we can easily assess what Blueprint game plan best fits your personal, financial, business, or ministry criteria. And we just like to make sure that you have the proper one so that you can get as much value as you possibly can. Or you can just go to Ramonepreston.com. Ramonepreston.com. You can go there. Feel free to take a look at all of the Blueprint game plans we have available. And if there's anyone that piques your interest, you can take a look at the modules, what you're going to learn. You can feel free to either purchase it on your own, or you can reach back out to us at 404-478-7213. Once your payment is processed, you have immediate access to all of the training courses, all of the resources, the documents, the forms. You can literally get access to it today and have your LLC filed, your holding company established within the next few hours if you're just that savvy and swift in your pursuit to do what you need to do for your finances and for your business. Now, for those of you, whether you have a Blueprint game plan or not, if you are an individual that just needs more one-on-one, hands-on support, I have just introduced like literally yesterday, I just introduced a 1-year business coaching program. So basically, if you go to our university website right now, we have a 90-day coaching program that we provide through our company. It's a 90-day coaching program. Of course, me and my team, we personally coach you for 90 days. All of the formulas and the strategies that we use I can say they're proprietary because they're just unique to me, because as a consultant, I integrate my consulting experience into my coaching to really help you put together a successful game plan for your personal life, your finances, your business, your ministry, so you can actually achieve whatever the results that you want. But if you go to our university platform, Ramonepreston.com, you'll see that we only have one business coaching program available, okay? So with this 1-year coaching program, what we decided to do was we decided to take our one 90-day coaching program and make it available for an entire year for the price of one 90-day coaching program. So basically, with this 1-year business coaching program, you get 4 90-day coaching programs for the price of one. And we're also allowing you to make one initial down payment so that we can lock you in, and the remainder payments will be spread out over the course of the 1 year that you're going to be coached by me, my team, and my company. So if you would like to be a part of our 1-year exclusive coaching program, you really have to reach out to us and secure your spot as soon as possible. We have a certain number of individuals that we're going to allow in. We already have several commitments, but unless or until you pay that initial deposit, that spot is not secured. It's a first come, first served basis. We have been praying, literally. We've been believing God. We've been getting divine downloads of revelation on how we can take everyone who joins this 1-year coaching program to 6 figures and beyond in a year. And that's what my goal is. If you want to know more about the coaching program, what it entails, how it's going to look, I'll be more than happy to share more details with you. It is a 1-year exclusive coaching program. We're taking our 90-day coaching program and we're giving you 4 of those 90-day coaching programs for the price of 1, and you'll be able to pay a deposit, and the remainder of that program you can pay throughout the course of the 12 months you're in the program. All you have to do is text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. Text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. If you go to Ramonepreston.com, you will see information about our consulting group. We provide business, executive, real estate consulting as well. If you and your organization, whether it's a nonprofit or for-profit, if you and your organization needs consulting, professional consulting for your business, for your church, for your ministry, for your company, for structuring and scaling your company, I'll be more than happy to make myself and our consulting group available to you. All of that can be found at Ramonepreston.com. We also just launched recently, the past 2 months, we launched our Next Level Network. It's a ministry network. It's a ministry initiative where I am providing spiritual covering and accountability to pastors, churches, ministry, nonprofit executives, business owners, especially those who don't have a local church, who don't have a pastor, but who wants to have a spiritual covering, who wants to be held accountable on a spiritual level. We just recently launched the Next Level Network of churches, ministries, and entrepreneurs, and I'm so excited because we already have a couple people who have literally committed. They've joined our Next Level Network, and we're believing God that it's going to continue to grow, because I believe there are people who are prophetic, but who are purposed, and who want to be a part of a prophetic purposed network, ecosystem, group of people who can help get them to their prophesied place. So all of that information can be found at Ramonepreston.com. I love y'all, appreciate y'all so much. Continue to like, Continue to share the video. Continue to tag family members and friends and let them know. Every Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock p.m., Prophet Ramonepreston and the Ramonepreston Show is live in his house. Shout out to all of my YouTube family members. Thank y'all so much. Facebook, y'all got to tighten up. Y'all was trying to get it going today, but YouTube, they be banging over there. My YouTube family, they ask questions, they comment, they interact. I need y'all to step your game up, Facebook. Y'all over there in the book now, tighten up, tighten up. Chaston says, thank you for the value. Gotta go. Gonna go ahead and watch the rest of your YT videos. Thank you so much. He said he's going to YouTube. The rest of our videos. Anytime you get over to YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are quickly approaching 2,000 subscribers, and we want to continue to move forward. I love y'all. Have an amazing day. I will see y'all